The Utah Mammoth wrapped up Game 1 of their first ever appearance in the Stanley Cup Playoff with a 4-2 loss to the Vegas Golden Knights. Who stood out, who played well, and who sucked? We're going to talk about all that and more coming up on this episode of SLC Puck. So cue the music, because here we go. What's up, everybody? Welcome to SLC Puck. I'm your host, Austin Facer. It is great to be with you on a Monday, 420. Blaze it, folks. I'll tell you what's smoking hot right now. The fumes coming off this game, this series. Things are really heating up in a big way between the Utah Mammoth and the Vegas Golden Knights in the first round matchup of the 2026 Stanley Cup Playoffs. Utah's first ever appearance in the postseason. They played Game 1 in Vegas last night. A late puck drop. Puck didn't drop until 8:22, but it was worth the wait. There were all kinds of fireworks, activities, extracurriculars, some goals, some saves, some hits, some tussles, a headbutt. And lots of action happening over there in the city of sin, Las Vegas. The Golden Knights took Game 1 4-2. I was really encouraged by Utah's performance in some areas. I think they're going to have to regroup in others, obviously. But I think it was an awesome effort by the Utah Mammoth, and I think their coaching staff and I think everybody associated with the franchise would agree. They played extremely hard, and I think there's a lot of positives that they can take with them into Game 2. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Sean Durzi headbutting a member of the Golden Knights. We'll talk about Logan Cooley, his performance, and we'll talk about the leaders of the team who were stymied in this one. Clayton Keller, Nick Schmaltz, Lawson Kraus, their line did not play very well at all. They were outmanned by the Vegas Golden Knights, by an unsuspecting group, perhaps. Meanwhile, on the back end, Mackenzie Weegar and Mikhail Sergachev struggled mightily as well. We're going to go into all that and talk about what can be done in Game 2, if anything. But it's going to be a terrific series. We're so glad you joined us on SLC Puck. We're going to be covering the series in depth, in great detail. Tomorrow is Game 2, Tuesday. I'm thinking we'll probably do like a pregame show live from the basement and maybe even some postgame show stuff. So, hey, if you want your voice to be heard, we do have the SLC Puck hotline. I post that on my social media. You can call in and give your takes on the series as it's unfolding. Or, of course, just send me a message on Instagram and all that good stuff. But first, also, we need to just drop a couple other housekeeping items. Big thanks to a bar named Sue for hosting the watch party at their Highland Drive location. That was freaking awesome. That was our biggest turnout yet. Someone did a head count for us, and they said we had 70 people in attendance in Mammoth gear at Puck Drop. And considering we competed with probably 10 other bars last night, I thought that was a freaking awesome turnout, and it was so great to see all of you guys there. We'll do another one for Game 4 at Flanker. Don't forget, we're going to have a Patreon episode as well tomorrow on Tuesday, as we always do. So content around the clock here at SLC Puck headquarters. And, of course, we do have some Big Cup Energy hats still available for purchase. Those are going fast, though, so I jump on it now while you can. But it's in the books. History was made. A team representing Utah appeared in the Stanley Cup Playoffs for the first time ever last night in Sin City. The sights and sounds in Sin City, as they always are. That's what that town's known for. Sights, sounds, shrimp cocktail, and a lot of losing. Unfortunately, Utah Mammoth were on the losing end last night. But it was very cool to see the turnout amongst the Utah contingent when the game dropped pregame, I guess you could say, at the T-Mobile Arena just off the Strip in Vegas. I saw a big crowd of Utah Mammoth fans there, getting ready to cheer on the boys. I heard there were a lot of chants of "Let's go Utah," all this like amazing stuff, right? I'm going to just pull up some pictures here. I mean, there was a line right there, a big gathering in front of the arena. These folks, these good, hardworking, good-natured, the salt of the earth folks from the Salt Lake Valley area and perhaps beyond, representing the great state of Utah down there in Vegas. So you can see here, look, I thought that's awesome. This fan base is only going to grow more and more as the team continues to establish roots in the community, have success, make postseason appearances. A lot of kids there having a good time. I mean, look at that line to get into the arena. They're all Utah fans. I heard there were quite a few of you guys with Big Tusk Energy hats as well, so that was awesome to see. I appreciated the folks who sent their pictures in from the game as well, so that was super, super cool. Who else joined the Utah Mammoth fans on the plaza? The guy who writes all the checks, baby. There's Ryan Smith making his way. Man of the people. He's got his Mammoth hoodie over his shoulders. I mean, it was probably 80 degrees down there in Vegas, very toasty. It's getting warmer here in Salt Lake. But he comes out to say hey to everybody. We saw a guy right there wearing one of those Fanatics Stanley Cup Playoffs t-shirts. I wonder if it was one of the misspelled ones. But that's freaking awesome. I mean, what Ryan Smith is doing is remarkable. He is the man of the people. He's excited about what's happening. That's so interesting. That hat, that Smith Entertainment Group hat, has an NBA and an NHL logo on it. How about that? It's a slick hat there. I would wear one of those hats. But I mean, people are just going nuts over this guy, and it's for all the right reasons. I think there are a lot of folks around the hockey world who have maybe never seen their ownership group out in public, and if they did, they would probably want to stick their head on a stick and dance around it. I'm kidding, of course. But he's getting so much love and respect from the hockey community. And it's such a smart tactic, not only to like build that love and that rapport here locally. And I do think it's sincere. I don't think this is just necessarily all strategic. I think this is just a guy who has like these incredible toys that double as like huge community assets, and he's just enjoying the hell out of it. I mean, this is what I would do if I was the owner of the team. I would go out and hang out with people and like be loved the way he is. I think it's great. And I'll tell you this, you know who else is taking note of this? And maybe that is a Jazz reference. Every other person in the hockey universe. Players are taking note of it. Gary Bettman's taking note of it. The other owners. This is like it's a really good look for Utah. And that was awesome to see. So very cool. We give our kudos to Ryan Smith for that. He's a man of the people for sure. That's an unbelievable sight, and that's something that is going to resonate with these Mammoth fans who, by the way, put up their hard-earned money to be there, to be an appearance, and to have the owners show gratitude for that is tremendous. It makes you feel good about if you were one of these people here, and here's a good picture right here. Put this back on the screen. If you were one of these folks who made the journey down to Vegas, you probably went to a buffet. Maybe it was the Wynn buffet. It's the best buffet in the country, I believe. And yes, I'm familiar with the rankings of buffets. Hey, there's our friend Austin Miles right there in the background. I know that guy. That's Austin Miles' mom. They're awesome. Haven't met these guys yet. Looks like a nice guy there. But like, if you're one of these people, if you're Austin Miles, if you're Austin Miles and his mom, and you put your money down to be there, maybe took time off of work, maybe you're willing to show up on Monday, a little bit, jet lagged or tired from driving through the night to be there bright and early for work on Monday, or you took the day off, which you probably should. You've got to feel great when the owner of the team comes out and thanks you and takes in the moment with you. So that was an awesome sight to see. The game also, I thought, was fantastic. Utah did not get the result they were looking for. Of course, now they're down 1-0 in the series, 0-1, however you want to say it, to the Golden Knights. But there were like a lot of moments in this game and a lot of stories that evolved as the game went on that I was really, really excited about. I talked about this in our pre-series episode when my colleague Samantha, my sister, was on the show with me. I'm like, for me, like the thing that I care most about is like, I need this to be a big moment of growth for the guys that we have bestowed the title of future franchise leaders upon. And I'm talking about Dylan Guenther and Logan Cooley. I said, this is an opportunity for these guys to get the most valuable experience they will ever get. Time in the Stanley Cup Playoff. They're at a really good point in their careers. They're both just a few years into their time in the National Hockey League. They're already superstars. Dylan Guenther had 40 goals this season. He was one of like 16 players in the NHL to have 40 goals this season. Logan Cooley missed a lot of time, but he made it very obvious when he was on the ice that this guy is a force to be reckoned with. He's the second fastest skater behind Connor McDavid in the entire National Hockey League. And I'm like, listen, fellas, this is the furnace. This is the pressure cooker. Like, let's see what you've got. And I got to tell you, I think they answered the call in a huge way. And I'll tell you this. This is the other thing that I kind of like. This is where I lose a little bit of where I have like a little bit of disconnect with you guys on this. Is I hear a lot of complaining about the announcing on ESPN, like when Utah's in a nationally televised game, they feel like the commentary is more tilted towards the other team. It's a big difference from getting the call on SEG Plus, that's for sure. But I thought the broadcasting crew who covered the game for ESPN last night, and that was the channel we were on to watch the game at Sue's, they were very complimentary of Utah, and in particular of Logan Cooley and Dylan Guenther. Logan Cooley especially. And it was just like so like obvious, right? It was just like that was not like a super nuanced take, but right from the jump, Logan Cooley. And we're just going to single him out. I thought Dylan Guenther had a good game too. I think that maybe there were some missed opportunities that he had. But Logan Cooley was there to frickin' play. Like, you could just tell this was a guy who was having the time of his life, but also playing his absolute butt off. And that is what the time of his life looks like for Logan Cooley when he's playing as hard as humanly possible. There was not a shift in this game played by Logan Cooley that didn't include a hit, a shot on goal, a great setup pass, a strong back check, an intense forechecking presence, and a bit of trash talking. I'll say that, man. There were some face washes. There was some. I mean, I'm not a lip reader, but there were some times where Logan Cooley was yapping it up with people, and at the end of the game. Was very apparent as well. Right off the face-off, he bloodies Nick Dowd of the Vegas Golden Knights. Dowd's lit. I think it was like his eyebrow gets cut, and he's got blood going down his face. It was on his jersey as he's coming off the ice. Nick Dowd, by the way, 35-year-old man. Logan Cooley, 21-year-old. Nick Dowd shouts over at Cooley, points at him, signals out, "I'm gonna effing kill you. I'm coming for you." Let's see. I mean, we got to find that video. That was freaking incredible. That was incredible footage. In that case, you could be a lip reader. Being a lip reader, you could probably easily tell what that had to say. Let's see if we can find it here. Yep, see the spitting chicklets, guys. Got it here. "I'm coming for you, and I'm gonna effing kill you." It appears Nick Dowd will be coming for Logan Cooley in Game 2. And it's like, you know what, Nick Dowd, bring it. And here we already know what the solution to any kind of tomfoolery by Nick Dowd might be. Our good friend, Logan Cooley's good friend, I guess you could say, a fellow Pittsburghian, Sidney Crosby, showed us what we do here with Nick Dowd. And I'll just put this on the screen. I was doing research on Nick Dowd. I'm like, we got to find a way. We've got to find a way to get to this guy. But you can see here, this is one of those classic matchups between the Washington Capitals and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Ovechkin, Crosby. You can see here, something happens here. Something happens here off this faceoff. That's Sidney Crosby. That's Nick Dowd when he was a member of the Washington Capitals. Crosby smacks him in the face. Here, there's another look. Boom. Not suggesting that Logan Cooley should do this or that this is the proper way to handle a Nick Dowd situation. But I'm just showing you that because there's just some kind of connection between Nick Dowd and people from Pittsburgh people. I mean, Logan Cooley was a member of the Pittsburgh Junior Penguins program. Sidney Crosby, icon in that community as well. So there's a connection there. It's something cosmic. It's something weird. If I'm Logan Cooley, I'm channeling my full Pittsburghian for a next game against Nick Dowd. It's going to be absolutely electric. We do have to give Nick Dowd and the line he played with, I believe I was with Colton Sissons and can't remember who else was on that line. We'll look it up here in just a second. But that line actually did play a very strong game against the Utah Mammoth, and that's something we can see in the stats. Let's see, who else was on that line with Dowd? Trying to find it here. Going on the fly here, folks. If you guys have any comments on Nick Dowd in particular, maybe you have a funny story or have any thoughts on Nick Dowd. Yeah. Oh, Cole Smith. Yeah, that's right. But yeah, I mean, that line for Vegas played very well. They were given the shutdown assignment of slowing down Utah's top line of Clayton Keller, Lawson Kraus, and Nick Schmaltz. You have to give them their flowers on this. Nick Dowd, Sissons, and Smith did a fantastic job. The hockey stat cards showed that by far Utah's least effective line was their best line. And it was in no small part because they were, matched up against Dowd, Sissons, and Smith basically throughout the entire game, except for like maybe the first shift or two when both teams trotted out, their top lines. For Vegas, that's Mitch Marner, that's Jack Eichel, that's Mark Stone. But from that point forward, after like the first couple shifts, that was the matchup. It was Keller, Kraus, Schmaltz against Dowd, Sissons, and Smith on the ice. Dowd and Sissons, Smith, that's the defensive forward group for the Vegas Golden Knights. They're also pretty up to the task of keeping pucks within the zone when they have possession. They put that line in a blender for Vegas's one of Vegas's early goals in that one. I believe it might have been their first one, scored by Colton Sissons. So that was kind of an interesting thing. I did not anticipate Keller, Schmaltz, and Kraus being shut down the way they were, but that's just the case. You can see that. I'll pull it up right here. If you guys haven't been to this website, this is a great way to visualize the matchups here. See here on Natural Stat Trick, their report from this game. You can see on this graph here, like, let's look at Clayton Keller. You can see, like, for the most part, when he's on the ice, he's met by, he gets a little bit of Stone, he gets a little bit of Marner. They quickly come off. They are replaced with Brandon McNabb on defense, right? They're replaced by Nick Dowd, Colton Sissons, Cole Smith in the forward group. And that's where goals happened for the Vegas Golden Knights. Like, let's just find this one right here. This is an interesting graph. I'll say that. See here. Yep. So that line for Utah, again, was neutralized in a big way. That had a huge outcome on the result. That had a big impact on the outcome of this game. Like, really go here to the box score. I mean, it just shows up. You don't need to get into the advanced statistics for that, but you can see here, Clayton Keller -3 in this one, Lawson Kraus a -2, Nick Schmaltz also added a -3 as well. So that line completely held at bay. But again, like, it was the Gunther Cooley line that really excelled for Utah. I was so happy to see the fact that those guys were in the fight the entire game. They were engaged in a big way. And I think that's something that, like, the players that didn't play particularly well from can take from watching the young guys play. Like, they were playing their frickin' butts off. They didn't cower. They didn't turtle. They were there. They were a part of everything that happened every time they were on the ice. We'll get a little bit more into what else went wrong for Utah in game one and what they may need to do to correct course. But first, let's give our good friends at Craig Swamp a word to chat.
Hurt in a car wreck, dog bite, slip and fall. Just call Quick Swap. One call, that's all.
After a car wreck, dealing with big insurance companies on your own can hurt your case. One call, that's all means we take care of everything. From dealing with insurance companies to helping you find doctors and repair shops, we're here to guide you from start to finish. Call Craig Swap and Associates today at 801-444-4444.
One call, that's all.
One call, that's freaking all. That's all you need with Craig Swap. We appreciate those guys. They've been great supporters of SLC Puck and what we do here. So they're the official injury law partner of the Utah Mammoth. They're also the official injury law partner of SLC Puck. Pretty good honors they hold. I'll say that. And if you're interested in sponsoring any part of SLC Puck, you want to be the official energy drink of SLC Puck. Those opportunities are certainly available if you work for an energy drink company or something like that. So just wanted that to be clear. I think the officiating in this game was very much embodied a playoff game, and it was so fun. Like there were like skirmishes, kerfuffles, all over the ice. Pretty awesome stuff. A lot of, engagement physically. Sean Durzi threw a headbutt. I saw that he was fined $5,000 by the NHL for this. Yeah, he got the maximum fine in game one. Let's see if we can pull up that video, and we'll chat about it here. Sean Durzi headbutt on Rasmus Anderson. Let's just take a look here. Headbutt, dangerous play. I mean, here's the thing. See right here, it's going to be on the left side of the screen here, on the kerfuffle. Boom, throws his dome right on Rasmus Anderson. Hits him in the visor. It's like, hey, Rasmus Anderson, you're being a frickin' baby in this case, okay? Sean Durzi's the one who doesn't have a helmet on. You can tell he's regretting that immediately. That probably hurt. He went forehead to visor. Maybe he was just like, it looked more like he was going in for a kiss than anything else. And what's the big deal with that, huh? That didn't hurt Rasmus Anderson. Look at that's. I'm not saying headbutting is good or condonable in any way. Obviously, if it's a dangerous play, it obviously can be a very dangerous play for both players, right? So that penalty needs to be in place. But come on now. I mean, and here's the other thing. I want to notice. You want you to notice here. Durzi's hands are occupied. He can't get his mitts up there to deliver a blow. What other choice did he have to defend himself other than to use his head? Doesn't strike me as a big problem, but that's just me. Of course, I'm joking a little bit there. As you can see, like these are the storylines that are going to stack on top of each other. Sean Durzi, they're gonna want him to pay for that in some way, even though it didn't really, hurt Rasmus Anderson anyway. Logan Cooley, his dust up with Nick Dowd is going to be something that he'll have to respond for as well. And the best way to do that is to dig in and fight back. It's going to be electric, and I see this as like a really, really incredible opportunity for Utah to really crystallize what could be their first big rivalry with an NHL franchise. I think we can see the seeds for that have already been planted, and it really is here in the playoffs that these things happen. I think we've sort of entertained the notion a little bit that it would be great if the Mammoth's rival was the Avalanche, right? And obviously there's like the Yeti storylines that go into that. I think the NHL wants to build them as rivals. They put them up in the outdoor game at the Winter Classic next year against each other for a reason, right? They want this to be a thing, but I got to tell you, like organically, like when it comes to like what's been happening on the ice, what's happening physically, and in games of consequence, I think the St. Louis Blues are a good example of who could be like a big rival for the Utah Mammoth, because I think all their games have been have had that storyline component of player on either team doing something to provoke a reaction from the other. Those games have been very hard fought, and some of them have had real consequence. So I do like the Blues as a rival. I think you could say the same about the pesky San Jose Sharks, who have been a thorn in our side in both regular seasons that we've had here in Utah. But it's becoming obvious that like our first big rival, the guys that we're going to boo relentlessly and have like just this special kind of hatred that's going to just like consume like a lot of our time and attention. That's going to be Vegas for sure. And that's going to come out more and more throughout the season. People are going to know the name Nick Dowd around here, and not in a good way, for all the right reasons. The reasons being that we're going to kick his butt next time we're on the ice with him. Logan Cooley is going to do that for us. He's going to represent the state in a big way that way. I think now we're going to be like a lot more interested in the whatever that team does to improve their roster. And that's a cutthroat team. I think they have a very contrasting style to the Utah Mammoth and how they do their management. Obviously they fired Bruce Cassidy at some point in like game 74 of the regular season. They went with John Tortorella, who is like the ultimate hard ass. That is not something I think Ryan Smith would have signed off on. There definitely was some talk of replacing Andre Tourigny with Pete DeBoer around midseason. That ultimately didn't happen. But I don't think any of us can imagine a team like the Mammoth or the Utah. I always compare the Mammoth's movements with what we've come to know from the Utah Jazz. We can't imagine the Jazz, replacing, their coach. There's only been like 4 Jazz coaches in the last 30 years, probably maybe almost longer. But it's just the styles are so different in the way they run their organization. There's a lot of midriffs and cutoffs with the Ice Girls in Vegas as well. It's a different vibe. It's Sin City. It's Salt Lake. It's a clash of 2 different stereotypes. I like it as a rivalry. They're both 2 of the newer franchises in the National Hockey League. You go down to like St. George and you see a lot of Golden Knights hats. And I think that that's something that needs to change. Something that will change over time as the Mammoth continue to embrace the entire state of Utah and improve their outreach to all 6 corners of the state. There's 6 corners in the state of Utah. Did you know that? Look at a map. But this to me feels like the start of a rivalry, and it's gonna be one that's built on broken teeth and blood forged in this series. I like it. I'm excited by it. But, what needs to happen is Utah can't get swept. They need to steal a game here in Vegas. They need to come back to Salt Lake City for game 3 on Friday for the first ever postseason Stanley Cup playoff game in the state of Utah at the Delta Center. The barn's going to be rocking. They need to come back, with a chance to turn the series on its head, make it a 2-1 series lead. And I think there's a lot of clues that we can take from Utah's second goal as to what needs to happen here. It's just like, it's the ultimate like kind of play where you're like, guys, why don't you just do this more? Like, you might see good things happen. We'll just play this highlight here and I'll show you what it is here. So we can see here, this is the game's tied 1-1 about 5 minutes into the second period. Utah's going to just start to move the puck up. Sean Durzi is about to cross the red line here, and he's scanning the ice. He sees very clearly. He's got Jack McBain right there ahead of him a little bit, but Vegas has formed a 3-man wall right here on the blue line. They're not going to be able to enter the puck with control into the zone just by skating it. Durzi, he's looking across the ice. He's scanning. He knows that there's only one play, and it's to the far board. So how does he get there? He's going to rim the puck hard off the kick plate. Right there, he does right before the right ahead of the blue line. The puck's going to rim around. Carter Hart's coming out of his net to try to stop it. He won't be able to reach it, but he's out of his crease. He's out. His bearings are off. At this point, he's not quite sure where his posts are. The puck comes around fast. This has to be done fast. Gets to Kevin Stenlund, who sees Carter Hart out of his crease, without his bearings, just fires one at net. It goes in. It goes in. And I don't want to say that I'm the smartest hockey guy in the entire world, but this needs to be a part of Utah's game plan, is looking at what happened here on the second goal. The hard rim to just throwing the puck on ice, letting the pinball wizard hockey god, people who, make weird things happen, the esoteric forces that, impact our lives, let them impact the game, the trajectory of the puck. But I think Utah just needs to do more of that. They need to be less precious with their shot selection. That's something we've been saying for 2 years now. It was a bit frustrating to see the Utah sort of lose track of the clock, the urgency. You can see here at the end of the game, this is this dust up between Cooley and Nick Dowd here. I mean, awesome stuff. This is only going to get better. There they go. They're going at it. There's Dowd. I think his face is cut right there above his eyebrow. Yeah, this is going to be an awesome series. We can see here Utah pulls their goalie. By the way, another miscue, right? Vegas gets their fourth goal, kind of the insurance goal, empty netter. And, you're watching the broadcast. You saw that, Karel Vejmelka missed the call to the bench. And it took him Utah a few extra seconds to get him over. By that time, they could have had an extra attacker in position to maintain control of the puck. Veggie gets off the ice late, and Vegas is able to find the back of the net. That goal, the fourth one of the goals, scored by Ivan Barbashev. So it's just like the little details of the game. Like, Utah a lot of these guys are making their first ever appearance in the Stanley Cup playoff. By contrast, right, Utah has 5 guys with Stanley Cup rings in their lineup last night. Vegas had 11, so twice as many guys with Stanley Cup playoff winning experience. That mattered. And this is for Karel Vejmelka. This is his first trip to the Stanley Cup playoffs as well. It was just a momentary miscue where there was just a little bit of a miscommunication between him and the bench. The building was probably super duper loud, but they've got to get that tightened up. Every second, every choice has consequence now, like huge consequence. For example, both teams had one power play opportunity each. For Vegas, that's too many. That's one too many. You can't give them that chance of the extra attacker. They capitalize on that with a goal by Mark Stone to knot things up, or to take the lead, I should say, at 3-2 after Stenlund's goal that came on a fortunate bounce off of Carter Hart, who, by the way, was great. So that's the kind of thing you got to do if you want to beat a hot goalie, is just like fire crazy stuff on net, get him out of his element, get him a little bit rattled. But you've also got to tighten things up, right? That one hooking call on Alexander Kerfoot that put Vegas on the power play, ending up in a Mark Stone goal, that was incredibly consequential to the outcome game. The Vegas's power play is so good, they will wear down your penalty kill until they're gasping for air. That's exactly what happened. They were hemmed in their zone. They couldn't get a change. They couldn't get a clear. Mark Stone capitalizes on a rebound shot by Thomas Hertl, feed by Mitch Marner, and Vegas takes the 3-2 lead. And for Utah, they drop a lead heading into the third period, something they had only done 4 other times this season, 2 losses in regulation, 2 in overtime. Other than that, they were 29-2-2 with a lead after the second period. But again, every second matters. They didn't realize that as much at the end of the game. They pulled the extra attacker. And as I was saying, they got just a little too precious with their shot selection. It's the same thing that frustrates a lot of us about Clayton Keller too much. Logan Cooley firing at will the second he gets his stick on the puck there. Again, a nice little dust up there. Bodies flying. Let the bodies hit the floor. The bodies. I mean, it's awesome. It's great stuff. I've never seen Nick Schmaltz get so heated. Nick Schmaltz most of the time looks like his heart rate is at a steady, 40 beats per second. There, I think they got him up to 52 or something. So they got to hone in on the details of the game. They've got to work the hard rim. They've got to force Carter Hart to make mistakes in his net. And how they do that is by getting him out of his bearings, losing track of where he is in relation to the net. I think Utah can make these adjustments because they're going to watch the show and they're going to make the necessary modifications based on my evaluation. You're welcome, guys. I'm happy to help any way I can. But I think it's going to be great. I do love the intensity there. I don't think that's an issue for the Mammoth. I think that they're up to the task. I think they're ready for anything that comes their way in terms of physicality. I like that Nick Dowd let Logan Cooley know that he was going to try to kill him, because now like the element of surprise is gone. And what better way to stymie someone who's wants to kill you? This is all not in the literal sense, of course, but then to counter with an attack of your own. And Logan Cooley just showed that that's him. That's who he is. He's got that dog in him. And I'm excited. I think he like what we wanted out of this series, what we wanted to happen, happened already. We played it. There was a great game in game 1, and I think there's a big opportunity here to tie it up in game 2 and head back to Salt Lake for what will be an unbelievable night. And I have tickets, so I'm very excited. Well, let me just finish up the show by thanking our good friends at Jonathan's Jewelry, Payne Anthony Creative Jewelers. Those guys rock the house. They are community leaders in jewelry of all shapes and sizes, antique, new stuff, rings, diamond chains, all the bling you could need, all the ice you could ever want outside of the rink. Payne Anthony Creative Jewelers, Jonathan's Jewelry, they get the job done. They do this awesome deal for SLC Puck listeners. Just go in the store, either one of those locations, Jonathan's Jewelry, Cottonwood Heights, Payne Anthony Creative Jewelers, Trolley Square. Just tell them you listen to SLC Puck. They'll knock $100 off your purchase. If you want to save even more, and I'm guessing you do, you can scan the QR code right here on this side of the screen to enter to win a $250 gift card. We give away one of those for every episode of the show. So make sure you scan that QR code. It's easy. Scan it, hit send, bada bing, bada boom. You're in. They'll reach out to the winner. So we appreciate Payne Anthony Creative Jewelers and Jonathan's Jewelry for their support of the show. Excellent effort though by the Utah Mammoth. And you know, people talk about like, was this a missed opportunity? I saw a lot of folks say that. I think that was something that was said on Daily Face-Off's Morning Cup of Coffee podcast, or maybe it was another one. We don't know. We don't know if it was a missed opportunity. We won't know until after the fact, right? I think I feel really good about the intensity that I saw, and I saw Utah look the way that I think they could look at all times last night, and they were in it. There was definitely opportunities for Utah to come away with this one. The big takeaway though has to be Logan Cooley. He's getting so much love here on a national basis. We can see here Ryan Whitney of Spit and Chicklets. Logan Cooley going to be a beast in this league for a long time. What an entrance by him. Then gets it back and buries for first career playoff goal. Blutman 27 might be in tears early. And you can see the replies. He really stepped up last night. Didn't back down physically either. Utah has a great duo for years to come with Cooley and Gunther. Agreed. Yeah, Pittsburgh. He's the pride of Pittsburgh. He's our dude. I feel great. I feel great. Like for me, that was my big checklist. That was my number one thing is I wanted to see these guys show up and get engaged in this game, and that happened in a big way. So tomorrow, game 2 in Vegas, puck drops. What time does puck drop? That would be good to know. Let's figure that out. Puck drops mañana. No, I don't want Major League Baseball scores. Puck drops mañana at 7:30. So game might be delayed by the game in front of it. Bruins Sabres. By the way, how about those psychos in Buffalo having the time of their lives? Absolutely awesome. If you didn't see this, let me just show you. Buffalo. This is what I so badly hope we can accomplish here in Utah one day. It's deranged. It's insane. It almost defies like logic that adult human males can behave this way. And I love it. I really do. This is like under some sort of like overhang. This presumably has to be somewhere by KeyBank Arena. You can see here they have like some sort of MMA fighting dummy dressed up in a Boston Bruins jersey. I believe it's a Cam Neely jersey. This guy dressed up in full Bruins regalia, skating backwards, trips over a glove that someone threw on the ice. He's going to get his shots in here. And then this guy comes and tackles him from behind. By him, I mean the dummy. And gets his shots in on the Cam Neely. And the town just goes nuts. What's better than that? AI couldn't come up with that. Every part of this video, it hits every note. The guy skating backwards, squaring up against the dummy, somehow loses the fight against the dummy thanks to an errant glove. And then some other third man in comes sprinting out into frame with the, brings the dummy down from behind, gets his blows in, Todd Bertuzzi style. It's unreal. It's crazy. Let's try to do this, guys. This is what we need. This is who we need to become. I have my rollerblades. I need to dust them off. I'll get them out. If you need it to be me, I will do it. But this is what playoff hockey looks like. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Hey, I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate your support of the show. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Head to BigTuskEnergy.com. Grab one of these very limited. We have just a few left. Big Cup Energy hats. They're super dope. We can do game day pickup if you'd like. We can do local pickup, whatever works. I want to make sure you guys get these hats in time. Big thanks to Sammy for all her stalwart support. SLC Puck Sam is where you can find her on Instagram. You can follow me, follow the whole team at SLC Puck on all platforms. We'll do a pregame show, postgame show tomorrow live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. So we'll see you then, and let's do this thing.